Hello everyone, this is Luke from Be Successful. Here we are together at episode 31. As you already know, this episode appears weekly on Sundays, as the title tells it, and is initially available only to channel members for the first 24 hours. We want to thank our members for making our work in this project easier and supporting us. If you are on this channel for the first time, I welcome you to the Crypto Sunday series, and I encourage you, if you like this kind of material, to subscribe to the channel, to activate notifications so as not to miss the following valuable videos. But I also recommend to watch the videos already published on this channel, which are already over 100 in number. If you are passionate about crypto, stock market, real estate, and other types of investments and passive income, I sincerely recommend that you follow this channel, because that's exactly what we do. We provide you absolutely free of charge all the necessary resources to start from scratch and be able to become a successful investor in the financial markets. More details immediately after the intro. If you are older here, you probably remember the times when I told you that a bear market is close and that it will be upon us. Many laughed and did not understand why you had available capital at a time when all financial markets were at historic highs and were only going up. Here's why. Because today, just a few months away, Bitcoin is down 70% of the maximum price it had. Most altcoins have fallen over 90%. Many shares have also fallen between 40 and even 80%. Stock indices have also suffered substantial collapses of 10 to 20 and some even 30% or more. What does all this mean? That we can buy today the same financial assets that we found in winter at historic highs, only today we have discounts of up to 90%. But is it now the bottom of the collapse? Not yet, and if you listen to the last episode of Crypto Sunday, I explained exactly when and why it will be at the bottom of the collapse. If you haven't seen this video yet, I recommend you watch it. It can help you make a lot of money if you invest correctly, or it can help you save a lot of money by not investing in the wrong times. Every time the market cycle repeats the same patterns, gives us the same signals, and follows the same economic cycles. Of course, every time it's a little different due to the external factors we encounter on a case-by-case basis. Today, we have an economic situation that the world economy has never encountered in the past. Now is the first time in human history when we are dealing with globalized inflation. Until now, inflation took place in certain countries or regions and influenced only the countries with which these regions carried out economic activities. Today, we have inflation around the globe. Turkey announced an 86% inflation the other day. In China, due to high inflation, real estate developers accept advances for housing in melons, garlic, or other vegetables. Nigeria some time ago raised the reference interest rates to 19% in a single session of the central bank. America is fighting inflation aggressively, and we have the same problem in Europe. Let's not forget that an inflationary situation is good for the country in which it happens, but only if inflation is short-term, if it is controlled and if it is isolated. America is an unsaturated economy in which at the end of each year, the amount of imports exceeds the amount of exports. Most of America's trade is with Europe, and this devaluation of the euro against the dollar, which has occurred in recent months, greatly benefits Europe. Just think that most trade deals between Europe and America are made in dollars. If a dollar was worth 0.8 euros last winter, now $1 is equal to 1 euro. That means that for the exports that Europe makes to America, it receives the same amount of dollars, only that for every $100 received, it's no longer worth 80 euros, but 100 euros. Even if Europe receives the same amount of dollars in absolute value, Europe's revenues actually increase by 20% when it changes dollars into euros. The current economic situation suits Europe perfectly, which is why the head of the European Central Bank does not want to stop printing money faster in August and does not raise interest rates. while the Federal Reserve has not only raised interest rates at an accelerated pace and stopped printing new money for a few months, but also withdraws $95 billion a month from the market. Of course, this economic imbalance smiles on ordinary Americans, if they want to go on vacation in Europe, that is. Because now for every $1,000, they can buy 1,000 euros instead of $800 as they could buy a few months ago. The idea I want to emphasize is that an economic situation does not only come with advantages or disadvantages. There are always advantages and disadvantages. It depends on what you're looking for, and if you are ready to take advantage of the advantages that come your way. In addition to the inflation that is eating away at the incomes of people all over the planet these days, we are just coming out of a pandemic of a few years, in which governments have had to print money, keep people at home, and offer them aid to get them through this period. Government spending on hospitalization, vaccination, quarantine, medical checks, COVID testing, and information campaigns has been enormous. These expenditures, corroborated with the paralysis of some economic sectors, and respectively of some of the imported sources of income, have financially unbalanced many countries, and the effects are already beginning to be seen. If we add the war in Europe, which brings enormous expenses to the countries that support Ukraine, but especially to Russia, we realize that we are in a delicate situation. The war in Ukraine, combined with the political games of the great powers, can provoke a food crisis worldwide. This year's crops are not as good as last year's, and we can already see how, due to the extreme drought and the heat wave this year, whole fields of unharvested wheat are starting to burn, instead of the forests that burned last year. Maybe some are just coincidental, but others certainly aren't. Russia's and Ukraine's grain exports to Africa accounted for half of the food of the entire African continent. If an imbalance of the world food market is desired, it is easiest to starve a huge continent like Africa. Unfortunately, in these political and military games, people themselves are not taken into account. Everything is measured in costs and gains, and if this maneuver is profitable for one of the superpowers, it will happen. Now that we have given some context to the global economic situation, let's get back to what interests us. As I said, markets follow their cycles for hundreds of years, and each time prices rise to new highs, then collapse. Every time there are new events that create these cycles, and every time most people think that this time it is different. This time, history will not repeat itself. Look how different it is now, you will hear. There is no way the same pattern can be repeated. Now we have war. Now we have a pandemic. Now we have inflation. This time it will be different. It just won't be. Every time the markets fall and then go to new highs. And every time those who believe that now it will be different will remain on the outside. We are now close to the bottom of a new crisis. As I said, many financial assets are already traded with discounts of 70, 80, or even 90%. All you have to do now is start investing smartly, using a well-developed strategy, and you can earn money that will really change your life. You should be aware that some of the financial assets Repeat? You should be aware that some of the financial assets will disappear until the next bull run, so you need to invest with diversity and be wise. Choose multiple assets from different asset classes. Make investments constantly, monthly or weekly from now until the next cycle of economic growth. You must choose the amount you invest per month in such a way that it does not endanger your lifestyle or your financial security. You have to be willing to lose this amount if everything goes wrong and your investment plan has been made wrong. But the beauty and paradox of crisis is next. In the crisis, people are having a harder time than usual and are starting to have some shortcomings. Exactly those who are willing to live even harder than necessary, to impose a monthly tax on themselves to extract from the monthly income of the family and to invest it, they will be rewarded royally. The highs of the next market cycle will be much higher than the last highs you have seen. Bitcoin will be traded for much more than $70,000 in the next bull run. The prices of companies that will not go bankrupt in this crisis will be much higher than they were during the last highs. Every dollar invested in the crisis will be $10, $20, even $30 in the next peak market. It all depends on your ability to choose the right things to invest in, but also the time to do it and the risks you want to take. But following this channel, we will try to provide you with all the information you need. If you haven't already, I'll tell you that now is a good time to start investing, and maybe in the next market cycle, be the first millionaire in your family. The work we do here is neither quick nor easy. A whole team, we work hard to turn our good intentions and our knowledge into support for you. If you find valuable what we do here and want to reward us, you can choose to become a paying member of this channel. Choose to do this only if you can afford it and want to do it, and only if you are sure it's worth it, and that for the money you're paying, you're already receiving the value. You can choose from 3 different support packages. The first is Star, for only $2.99 per month. The second is VIP, for $6.99 per month. And for those with higher financial capacity, we have the True Hero package, for $24.99 per month. No matter which package you choose, we thank you for helping us understand that our work is really valuable to you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Until next time, take care of your money.